welcome to this little video where I'm going to show you how you can use Excel to work out averages and range. Now first of all, what are mean, median, mode and range? Well, mean, median and mode are averages. Now the range is not an average. It's often calculated with averages, but it is not an average. So I suppose we need to know, what do they do? Well, what the averages do is they provide a single figure to represent a set of numbers. So if we've got a large amount of numbers, it's not easy to sum it up when it's a big large set. So we can use a single number, an average, to represent that data. And its benefit is that we can then compare two large sets of data by having an average for each and comparing those. Now the range, what that does, it's a single figure again, and it shows how spread out a set of numbers is. And very often the range is referred to as the spread. Okay, so next up, how do we calculate them? Well, the mean is the average that most people have heard of and will have come across. And the way we do that is we add up the numbers and we divide by however many numbers there are. Let's have a look at an example. Find the mean of 4, 7, 4, 5 and 10. So step 1, add up the numbers. And if you add those up, you get a total of 30. And the mean is 30 divided by however many numbers there are. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So the mean is 30 divided by 5, which is 6. Okay, so how do we calculate the median? Well, first of all, we've got to put the numbers in order, and then we're going to find the middle number, and that's what the median is. So let's have a look at that same set of numbers, 4, 7, 4, 5 and 10. First of all, let's put them in order, and we normally put them in ascending order, going from small to big, but because we're finding the middle number, we could do it either way, but the convention is to go from small to big. Now to find the middle number, we'll cross one off the front and one off the back, and the next one off the front, next one off the back, and there's our middle number. So for those 5 numbers, the median is 5. Now what you might have thought is, what if there's 2 middle numbers? Or in other words, what if we've got an even number of numbers in our data? That's what we got here. That we got 4, 7, 4, 5, 10 and 8. Okay, well we have to put them in order, so let's do that. 4, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 10. Now let's cross one off the front and one off the back. One off the front, one off the back. Alright, now we're left with 2 middle numbers. Well, what we do now, to get the median, we add up those 2 middle numbers and divide by 2. So 5 and 7 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the median in this case is 6. Okay, what about the mode? Now the mode is the number or numbers that occur or occurs most often. So let's have a look at that set of numbers again. 4, 7, 4, 5, 10. Well, you can see there's 2 4s, 1 5, 1 7, 1 10. So 4 occurs most often. So the mode is 4. Excellent. But what if more than one number occurs most often? What do we do then? Let's have a look then. So we've got 4, 7, 4, 5, 10, 7, 13, 11, 10. Well, let's have a look and get rid of the numbers that occur once. So I can get rid of that 5. There's a 13 and there's 1 11, and we can see there's 2 4s, 2 7s, 2 10s. So those 3 numbers occur most often. So we just say the mode is 4, 7 and 10. Now it might have occurred to you as well, what if there's not a number that occurs most often? What if we've got something like this? All numbers occur once, so there isn't a number that occurs most often, so we just say this time there's no mode. And lastly then, how do we calculate the range? Well, the range is the highest number minus the lowest number. So let's go back to our set of data, 4, 7, 4, 5, 10. What's the highest? 10. What's the lowest? 4. So the range is 10 minus 4, and so we'll say the range is 6. So we can now manually calculate mean, median, mode and range. So how do we calculate them using Microsoft Excel? Let's have a look. Oh, blimey. Okay, so here's Microsoft Excel. I've made it big so we can see what's going on. Now I'm going to input some data, which I'm pretending has come from an assignment. So let's call it, say, the number of devices that students had in their house, number of electronic devices. So I'm going to put a heading in here, number of devices, and we've got two classes, so we're going to end up comparing these. So let's call them class A, and then we move across here, and we've got, class with two S's, not three, class B. Now I'm going to use the data we used in the examples earlier for the class A, so that was 4, 7, 4, 5, 10. And let's have a look. Class B, the data could be something like this. I don't know what, 5, 4, 12, 7, 8. So I've input my data, which I read from my assignment sheet. I'm keeping this data set small just to show you the how it works. In reality, you probably have a few more numbers than this. Now we're going to work out, the mean. Let's write that in there. The median, and then we're also going to work out the mode. And finally, we'll work out the range. Now we're going to use a little formula. So what we do is click on that box there, and because we're using a formula, we always start with equals. Now Excel refers to the mean as the average. And so what I do is type in equals average, and I open bracket. Now then I'm going to highlight the data I want Excel to work out the mean for. So I move my mouse pointer to the first number in the data, and I hold in the left button, and then I just drag down and I highlight the data. So make sure you can read that. Equals average, open bracket, and then I've highlighted the data. And now all I've got to do is press enter, and there it's worked out the mean, and it's dropped the active cell down to the one next to median. Okay, so now I'm going to type in the formula to work out the median, and that is equals median, open bracket, and the same as with the mean, and I'm going to highlight my data. Be careful that you only highlight the data. Don't inadvertently highlight the mean as well. When I've highlighted my data, I let go of the mouse and I press enter. It works out the median. So what do you reckon the formula is for mode then? Equals mode, open bracket, highlighting the data, making sure I just get my data, and then I press enter. So Excel has worked out mean, median and mode for me, and those agree with the figures that we got when we worked them out manually just now. Now the range, you would think, would be equals range, but unfortunately it's not. This is a little bit fiddly. We have to type in equals max, open bracket. Okay, so highlighting the data. So to highlight the data, I get to the first cell, I hold in the left button on the mouse and drag down and let go. Then I'm going to close the bracket. Then type minus. Min comes next, open bracket, and then I highlight the data again, and this time I have to close the bracket. We didn't have to close the bracket for mean, median and mode, but for this one we do have to close the bracket, and then I press enter. So Excel has worked out mean, median, mode and range for me for that set of data. Now I also want to find it out for class B, but I don't have to type it all in again. I can just drag the formulas across and it will do it automatically. So to do this, I'm going to highlight the values I got for mean, median, mode and range. I'm going to let go of the left button. I'm going to move this down here to the right till I get a black cross. Not the one with the points on like that, but just the black kind of plus sign. Then I'm going to hold in the left button, drag across, let go, and it's calculated mean, median, mode and range. What you might notice is a big #N/A on mode. What that means is that's Excel's way of saying there is no mode for that data. Okay, so there we go. We've calculated mean, mode, median and range, or mean, median, mode and range even, and we're going to use this table. We're going to copy it and put it into a Word document. So first things first, we want to kind of tidy it up a little bit. Now this number of devices, that heading, is just in that one cell there. So I'm going to go across here, highlight those two, and I go up to the top here. Notice I'm on home, so if you were on a different tab at the top, you have to select home there. Now I'm going to click on merge and center, and there we go. It's merged those two cells, giving me a nice heading for my table, and it's centered up the wording. I'm then going to highlight my data in the table, and I'm going to center it by clicking on the center justify button just there, and that looks a lot better. Now I'm going to highlight the data again, all of it, and I'm going to put grid lines in. So I'm going to go onto this little bit here, look, get the drop down, and I want all borders, and there we have it. And now we're ready to import this into Word. So once again, what I'm going to do is highlight it, highlight everything I want to import. You could right click and copy. I tend to use Control and C. So I hold down Control and press C. And now, because it's copying something, it puts that flashy little border around it. So now I'm going to open up Word. And this is a part of my assignment I've been typing up, and I've said, oh, here we are, look, I've calculated the averages and range for the data. Now you could do right click and paste, but I tend to do Control V. And there it is. It puts the data that's been worked out into a Word document. We might want to center it up, so if you wibble the mouse around over that table, you see you get that funny little cross there, and we can just drag this across. And there it is. Well, it's a bit far, isn't it? Let's put it there. There we go. So what we've done, we've used Excel to work out mean, median, mode and range, and we've now imported it, and then we can use a manual calculation to show off that we can calculate it manually, and also as a check. We could also display our formulae and put that in our assignment as well. So the next question is, how do we do that? Okay, so as I said, the next question is, how do we show the formulae that we used? So there's our keyboard. Now what we've got to do is hold down two keys. It's the Control key and the key to the left of the 1. There's some funny kind of symbols on it. It doesn't always look like that, but it's the key to the left of the 1. So let's have a little close-up on them. Those two there. Okay. So now let's go back to Excel. So here we are, back with our Excel sheet. So I'm going to hold down Control and the key left of 1, and there we go, and that shows the formulae. Notice that the range formulae has been cut off there. So what I'm going to do is widen up the column B. So I get my mouse pointer in between the B and the C, so we get a cross with an arrow on the right and left side, and I just double left click. And do the same between C and D. And there are my formulae. Now we might want to put that into our assignment. So once again, what we do is we highlight it, Control C to copy, and then we open up Word. And I could type in here now, here are the formulae that I used, and then just paste it in. One last thing before we go, how do we get back off the formulae? Well, to get back off the formulae, we hold down Control and press the key to the left of 1. So same keys as before. So those are just a toggle. We can have the formulae displayed or back to the data. Okay, second last thing. If there are two modes, Excel doesn't like it. Let me change this class B to 44, 12, 12, 8. So we know, there's our data there, look. We know that we've got 2 4s and 2 12s. So a mode should be 4 and 12. But if you look, mode here, Excel can't handle working out two modes for a set of data. Now the reality is you're unlikely to come across it that often, but just keep an eye out. And if this does happen, you can just mention it in your write-up on your assignment. Let's have a little recap. How do we calculate them manually? Well, we've got mean, add them up, divide by the amount of numbers. Median, can you remember? That's it, put them in order, find a middle number, or if there's two middle numbers, add those two together, divide by 2. And the mode, the number or numbers, occurring most often. The range, highest minus lowest. Right, how do we calculate them in Excel? Well, the formula for mean is equals average, open bracket, and we highlight the cells and press enter. Median equals median, open bracket. Then we highlight the cells and press enter. Mode equals mode, open bracket, highlight the cells and press enter. The range is a bit more complicated. Equals max, open bracket, highlight the cells, close the bracket. Minus min, open bracket, highlight cells, close the bracket, press enter. And that's it. One thing I should have said earlier, it doesn't matter with these formula if you have capitals or lowercase. They're not case sensitive. And so that's it. Apart from how do we show the formula that we used, we've got to press those two keys and we can toggle the formula on and off. Well, that's it for me. Best thing now is to go off and practice this, try it out for yourselves, and bye for now for me, and I will speak to you on the next video, which will be how to draw some graphs. So it's bye for now.